All right, hello everybody. This is Daniel Wynn, and I want to thank you for joining us before the holiday madness and the holiday well wishes and all those great things that are about to come. And as we head into 2013, I wanted to share with you some great ideas on how to increase your revenue next year without spending any additional money on advertising or marketing. And I brought in my special guest, Brian Williams. Brian's a good friend, and he's local here with me. Not crazy local or loca, but he's local here in Las Vegas. So I thought he would come join me in the office and share this information with you. So Brian is an internet marketing expert, and he's a business growth strategist. And Brian will give you some good things to think about as we head into 2013. So Brian, share with the audience your great information.
Well, Dan, thanks for having me. And yeah, we're not going to talk at all about internet marketing today. So that's a different call for a different day. Today, we're going to talk about something very unique, something that is a real powerful tool that for those of you that are interested, and this will be, some of you will be very interested. It's perfect for you. And literally, you could increase your business 10 to 30% without any additional spending in advertising, no marketing, and get started right away. So, and like Dan said, this is going to be a relatively short presentation. There's literally 13 slides. One of them has my face on it, so we can pretty much discount that one. And I expect to talk for maybe 15, 20 minutes at most. And then if you have questions, please type them into the chat box. We'll open up the lines even live if we have questions. So today we're going to cover basically three topics. First, I'm going to set the groundwork or lay the groundwork by talking about the three ways that you can grow your practice. And there's really only three ways, so it's easy to remember. The second thing we're going to go into is exactly what we just mentioned, which is how to increase your revenue by 10 to 30%. And finally, for some of you that want to do this, we'll give you an opportunity to implement this in your practice right away. So with that, let's start with the three ways. And here's the great thing about growing a business. And for whatever you've heard in the past, there's really just three ways known to humankind to grow any type of business or practice. So, and I like to keep things simple. So let's just keep it that way and get into the first one. So the first way, and the most obvious way, and the one that usually comes to our mind, is getting more customers. Right? We all think of when we're going to grow our businesses. Well, we need more customers, and that is obviously one of the three ways to go about it, but oftentimes it's not the most efficient way. Oftentimes it's not the most cost-effective way, and oftentimes it's not the fastest way to grow our businesses. And sometimes it's staring us right in the face, and we're so into the business that we're doing, we don't even see it. And there's these other two ways that I really love, which are raising your profit per sale. Like, wouldn't it be great if everybody that you did business with as a customer bought more of what you have to offer, as an example, or bought additional items that you add to the sale? And those are some of the ways that we can, as business owners, increase our profit per sale and effectively grow our business without having to get more customers. And the third way is to increase the frequency by which our customers do business with us, right? So if your customer comes in and purchases your services more than once a year, more than twice a year, more than 3 times a year, as we do this, we make more money and our businesses grow. And that's it. It's just these three ways. And what we're going to show you today is a technique, if you will, and a product that can grow your revenue without having to get more customers and spend more money to get those customers. It really ties into number 2 and number 3 here. And oftentimes that, like I said earlier, is the most effective and most efficient way to do it. So let's set some more groundwork. Oh, and first, before I get into that, normally when I'm talking about marketing or internet marketing, I put up a slide like this that shows all these different things, and you've probably heard of, seen these things. Maybe some of you are doing some of these types of things in your business right now. We're not talking about any of this, but I just wanted to point out that this is the stuff that we typically see when we're on a call like this, or when someone's coming to our offices and trying to show us how to grow our revenue. They're talking about this stuff, internet advertising or trade show marketing or trade show publications or Google ads. And not that any of this stuff is ugly. It's all good stuff. And if you're doing this stuff, I encourage you to continue with it. But that's not today's topic. So let's move on to what today's topic is, which is what if I could show you how to grow your revenue by a factor of 10 to 30%. Stay with me for the next 10 minutes. Oh, and better yet, from your existing patient traffic. So without changing whatever it is that you're doing to have patients come through your office. Today, unfortunately, 82% of Americans have credit problems. This is probably not shocking news to any of you listening here today. We pretty much know this. What is more, I don't know if it's shocking, but I guess sad, is that for 65% of them, it is so severe it affects their ability to purchase the products and services that they need. And you may, and some of you are probably nodding your heads like, yeah, you see this, right? They need what you have, or they want what you have, but they walk out not buying what it is you have, or not taking you on the recommendation that you're giving to them, and they may not even be saying it out loud as to why, but you know that it's probably because they don't have the available cash, their credit's maxed out if they have any of it at all, and they're too afraid to apply for the standard types of credit that's available because they know they're not going to qualify because it's based on their FICO score, it's based on what's on their credit report, and so they may not even be talking about it, but you know, as a business owner, what's going on, and they're just a good portion are probably walking out without being able to take action with you. In the past, what's historically been available for you is something like Care Credit, and many of you may be familiar with a Care Credit or a Wells Fargo type financing program where you can offer your patients a tool where they can, get your services. For example, someone comes in and they want to engage with you to do, $3,000 or $4,000 worth of hormone therapy, and maybe they can qualify for a program like this. But in our observation and with the other physicians and professionals that we work with, they're only able to approve, somewhere between 20 and 30% at most of the applicants because it's based on this FICO score of 680 or better. And for those of you that are using a program like this, you're probably also nodding your heads because that's probably about where you're at with approval rates. And what's also a factor with these types of programs is they usually are charging you, the physician, a discount of anywhere from 7 to 20%. And that's based on factors of how much volume you do, et cetera, et cetera. So that money's coming right out of your pocket, and you're basically reducing your profit per sale, which is not what we want to do, because that's not a revenue growth strategy. That's the opposite. So let me show you what is possible today, because it's different from what you've heard in the past, and this is really the topic of conversation and that we want to have moving forward, which is something called Global Check. Now, Global Check is a finance company that's been around since 1994, and they've been offering the product that I'm going to be sharing with you now since the year 2000. It's a small finance product in their book of products, right? They're used to financing larger transactions, but this product is perfect for what you offer as a service provider, and I'll explain why and how it works. First of all, there's no credit check or a FICO requirement. In fact, they don't even look at the credit report. So even if the patient has had a bankruptcy or a foreclosure or a repossession, or their credit score is, in the 400s, it's not a factor in having them get approved. And it's so much not a factor that we have an 85% approval rate on average with people who apply for this. Now, I want to make one point. This obviously is not for everybody, right? I mean, if they have cash and if they have good credit or a good FICO, this may not be the program for them. But for those one or two a week or a month that come in, this is where you can help serve those patients, and they can get what they need done, and you can increase your business. There is no discount charge to you. So that 7 to 20% that's taken off the top with other programs, that is not part of this program. The way that this program works is your customer pays 8% on the amount that's financed. So it's a reasonable amount of interest on what the customer pays. So for example, if they finance $1,000 worth of service, they're essentially going to pay $1,080 to have that service performed. The financing is available for purchase amounts of between $100,000 and $10,000, and that's an ideal range for what you offer in your practice, and your payment is guaranteed. Meaning, in most cases, and we can get into the details maybe one-on-one afterwards if you're interested, but in the vast majority of cases, you're going to be guaranteed to receive the money that is being financed regardless of the customer behavior, regardless of whether the customer is making good on their commitment to pay back to Global Check the finance that they've been approved for. And we can get into those details either during open Q&A today or after the call. You can get Dan on the phone and we'll give you his information when we're done with this. So earlier, I've said throughout here that this is a tool for you to increase your business, increase your revenue by a factor of 10 to 30%. And I mean, here's basically how it works, right? So if you can visualize yourself in your practice, right? A customer comes in, you prescribe $3,000 worth of therapy, and they're just like, wow, that's just too much for me to handle right now. What else is available? Is there any other thing we can do? And you're left with choices either to, take payments on your own and you have the hassle of collecting, or trying to get them approved for a FICO-based product, which we all know is only going to get a 20 to 30% at most approval rate, or doing less work essentially, and or not being able to fulfill your prescription to really help the patient. And what our customers will typically say at that point that are offering this product is, well, would it make it easier for you if you were able to pay the $3,000 over a 6-month period in equal payments? Would that make it possible? And if they say yes to that, you can say, well, don't worry about your credit. We approve over 80% of our applicants. Basically, your customer needs to have income, which 99 times out of 100 comes in the form of them having a job, and they need to have a checking account. And other than that, they show you their ID, and with those 3 bits of information, basically a job, a checking account, and some valid ID, you're going to be approving 80% plus of those people that really need what it is that you have to offer. So, and what I want you to think about is, on a weekly or monthly basis, how many patients do you see that walk through your door already that are in this sticky situation where they're afraid or they can't qualify for the credit, they don't have the cash, they don't have anything left available, but they really do needed what it is you offer. And if you do encounter this, let me show you how simple it is for you to get started with this program. And after this, we'll take questions if there are already, or you can just contact us and we can work with you one-on-one. So first, there's a one-time $495 charge for you to get established at your practice to be able to offer this finance product. That's it. It's one time, and you're done. And in addition to that, there is a $15 per month use fee. So basically, as long as you continue offering the program, you are paying a $15 usage fee as the merchant. And finally, if you need equipment, and I'll explain that in general terms now, there are different options for acquiring the equipment that you may need. And the equipment that you might need to get is what's called a check reader, which works very similar to a credit card reader, which you probably already have at your place of business. This reads checks so that the bank information can be sent to the finance company to make sure that the customer has a decent banking history within their checking account. And the equipment can be purchased or can be leased, depends on your needs, and if you even need this equipment, and that's something that we would have to work with you on a one-on-one basis for. And that's it. And once you decide to have this installed in your office, you basically can be set up within about 10 days. And the other thing that is important to note, because I get this question quite a bit from especially physicians like yourselves, is, well, what is the paperwork involved? What's the, how is this going to interrupt my normal flow of business, right? And that's a really valid and really important question. The way it works is you're basically going to, or your office manager's going to enter some information into a secure web form. That takes about 10 minutes to do, and within 5 minutes of entering that information into the secure web form that you will get, you'll have an approval. You'll know one way or the other whether they're approved. So they can literally, the patient can be waiting right there, and within 15 minutes of you starting to enter the information behind the desk, they're going to know if they're approved for the finance. So, what if you could help a patient a week or 2 patients a month or something of this? What A, difference would that make in growing your revenue line, and B, it just, what difference would it make for the patient as well? And if this is something that you can visualize and see how you could serve more and increase your revenue, again, without spending money on advertising, just using the existing patient traffic that's coming your way, this is probably something you're going to want to call Dan on and get more information on. The second thing is this. What if you also, just in your office or in whatever form of advertising you're currently doing, let's say you are advertising on Google, let's say you are doing a Groupon ad, or let's say you are in the Yellow Pages, or whatever it is that you do, or even your business card, what if you put on that business card that you offer no credit check in office financing? Would that attract a would-be patient that might not otherwise even call you because they know they can't afford in their minds what you have to offer? So that's another way that you can use a program like this to also increase your business without having to make much of a change at all, other than just making it known in your current place of business and in your current materials that you offer this amazing program. So if you have an interest in this, or if you have questions, and I will take them, let me give you Dan's information. I hope he is okay with me putting this on the last slide.
Oh no! Don't give him my information.
as he sits right next to me.
Don't give my. I don't want to. No, thank you, Brian. Obviously, thanks for explaining that. It's a really cool program. Obviously, being in finance in my past, I appreciate the fact that people can get serviced. I mean, you want to help the clients and the patients, and that's what this is all about. And the doctors, it's another tool in their toolbox to help them grow their business, because they're not just doctors, they're business people, and they have to produce a profit. And so I really thank you for sharing this information with them. I think we'll be able to help a lot of people in 2013. And let's see if anybody has any questions out there. If you do, you can type your questions in the.
Did you have any questions, Dan, as you were listening to this? I know we talked about this, but not necessarily in all this detail before.
Yeah. Well, I think you went over the paperwork, so it's not really heavy paperwork involved. How fast? Someone wants to know how fast can they get paid right away? Yeah,
that's actually an excellent question. So the way this program works is, for up to $2,500, you get paid immediately. And when I say immediately, it works very much like if you were to run a credit card payment. So usually it takes a few days for the credit card swipe to actually hit your bank account. It's very similar in this program as well. So once they get an approval for about half of the approvals, you will get paid up to $2,500 up front. And if your purchase is more than that, let's say it's, for example, $3,100, because this is a round number. The loans, by the way, are 6-month terms. So let's say there's $600 left over. You would be paid that other $600 over the term of that loan in equal monthly payments. And for the vast majority of approvals, and maybe all the approvals that you will want to accept, that money is guaranteed to you. as I indicated early on in the presentation, independent of whether the customer makes good. Basically, Global Check goes to town as the collections agency, and they take that risk, so you don't have to.
So let me make sure I understand. So the money gets like wired into my checking account, my business checking account?
Yeah, I don't know if it's called a wire.
It's ACH.
Yeah, it's very much like a
ACH.
credit card company would put money into your checking in your business account after swiping a patient's credit card.
Well, I definitely like that. The other questions I'm sure that people have is, so this is for products or services. It doesn't have
That's
to be
right.
one or the other.
That's correct. If you sell physical products as part of your practice, you can absolutely have those financed as well.
I think that's it for now, Brian. I want to thank you. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for attending. If you have any questions, give me a call. Look forward to it. Happy holidays.